We are very excited to have Congressman Trey Gowdy with us today. Congressman, welcome to the program.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's a very short introduction because I want maximum time for the interview, okay?
It's about what I deserve.
I know you're a prosecutor. You're going to grill me. I know you are.
I was a very mediocre prosecutor.
You're not. I want to talk about Apple.
Yes, sir.
The FBI says to Apple, hey, unlock, please, the terrorist phones, the iPhones, used by the San Bernardino killers. Apple says, no, we're not going to do that. We could, but we're not going to do it because the key to unlock could be used by anyone, anytime in the future. It's safety versus privacy. Where do you fall on this one?
I probably fall on the side of law enforcement because there's a public safety exception for the Fourth Amendment, for the Fifth Amendment, national defense, which this would fit that description.
Yep.
There's a different constitutional analysis for things that impact national defense. Now, as I understand the procedure, a magistrate judge has issued. It's a pretty small order, so there's not a lot of law cited. It'll be appealed to the district court and then ultimately to an appellate court where all of that can be fleshed out. But there's no question there's a public safety exception, even for our most sacrosanct amendments like the Fourth and Fifth.
I say in the age of terror, the age of possibly nuclear terror, I think we have to go extra steps towards preserving our safety and security. Would you go with me on that?
I would, because you are balancing competing constitutional principles, national security with privacy. So you're not balancing filling out March Madness brackets with privacy. You're balancing two constitutional precepts. And as facts dictate, that balance shifts. And because we're in the age of terror, I think the balance is shifting towards public safety.
Got it. Mr. Gowdy, thank you very much indeed.
Yes, sir.
That's not the end of the interview.
Yes, sir.
Now, there is, I want to get back to the GOP race. Congressman, you've endorsed Senator Marco Rubio, but I want your response to this. It was a fake Facebook endorsement of Senator Ted Cruz. You're using your name. That's been going around. I mean, there you have it on the screen. I won't go through the whole thing, but it's a fake endorsement, supposedly from you, for Ted Cruz. What do you make of this?
I think one of the fundamental precepts of conservatism is that we tell the truth and that the way we do things matters. The end does not justify the means. As Senator Cruz says his campaigns had nothing to do with that. I have no reason to not take him at his word. Steve King was on another show earlier this morning. He's a friend of mine. I have no reason not to take them at their word. I just know this. We do a disservice to the voters when we do things like that, whoever did it. So the fact that they use my name, I could care less. If they mention Tim Scott or me or Love, or frankly, if a candidate did it towards Ted Cruz, my approach is the same. The way we do things matters, and the end does not justify the means. There are people legitimately trying to determine between 2 or 3 candidates. And this kind of stuff is the reason people check out of politics, and it doesn't help them make up their mind.
Why are you for Rubio? I would have thought, you're a conservative, maybe you would go for Ted Cruz. What's the problem?
Well, I've known Marco for 5 years. Jim DeMint introduced us, and Marco, how he got to be the establishment candidate is baffling to me. His conservative ratings are higher than most of ours in South Carolina, and nobody thinks we're establishment. So he's a principled conservative who communicates in a persuasive way, and he can win in November. And if you want to make a point, there's a time and a place to make a point. I am to the point where I want to make a difference, particularly with the passing of Scalia. Who wins in November is really important, and Marco can win.
I don't want to ask you to tell tales out of school, but why is Ted Cruz so unpopular with other people in Congress?
Well, every interaction I've had with Senator Cruz has not been negative. They've been limited, but I would, you know, I judge people based on how I've interacted with them. My interactions with him have been more than pleasant. He's super, super smart. I will tell you this, whether or not he gets on with his Senate colleagues or not, I can't speak to because I'm not in the Senate. It would not be because of his conservatism. I mean, Jimmy Jordan is one of the most conservative people in the galaxy, and Jimmy is beloved. Mick Mulvaney is conservative. Mick Mulvaney is popular. Mike Lee is popular. Tim Scott is more popular than Elvis Presley. So I would reject the notion, if in fact he is unpopular, it's not because of his ideology. There are plenty of other conservatives in the House and the Senate. I've never had a crossword with him. He's never been anything other than fair to me in my personal dealings with him.
But you're a Rubio guy.
I'm a Rubio guy, but I know Marco better than I do the other candidates. I usually don't endorse, and I really don't think anybody cares who I think they ought to vote for president.
We've got viewers out there. I think
but I would encourage them to investigate the candidates for themselves. I mean, people have served and sacrificed for the right to pick their leaders, and they shouldn't let any elected official tell them who to vote for. I do know Marco. He is a conservative, and he can win, and that confluence of factors led me to support him.
Got it. Trey Gowdy.
Yes, sir.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for being with us today, sir.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it. Thank you.
Sir. Thank you.
All right.